Money Radio, discussing the business of making and spending money.
From the beautiful city of Abuja, it is my pleasure to welcome you to this Friday edition of Money Radio. Thursday it is today. Thursday edition of Money Radio, and you are on the energy focus of the program from Leadership Podcast. This is Money Radio, and of course, this energy focus, we are talking about a topic today that is biting Nigerians. Interestingly, many of the things we discussed in recent times are all about bite and bite and bite. So, why electricity tariff increase persists? Why increase in electricity tariff persists? And that is what we are discussing today. On the show with me is Mr. Anthony Uko, our in-house analyst. So you're welcome.
Thank you. Case, it seems you want the weekend to be. What plans do you have for the weekend? That you're saying today is Friday.
And I'm your host, Case Hammond. So we're talking about persistent tariff increase. Recently, some consumers woke up just to see that their tariff have increased. And of course, whenever these things go up, we don't see electricity supply increase. So that is usually a cause for anger. Mm-hmm. Yes, and Nigerians are rightfully angered. Mm-hmm. Yes, things are going difficult across the economy, across the country. Things are going bad, and we talk about fuel, the scarcity, we talk about just everything, and then now we're talking about power, especially so people don't seem to be in the loop. They are not being carried along. No. You just wake up and you see that electricity tariff has increased. So, it's a energy focus. Why is tariff increasing now?
Well, like you pointed out, it's rather unfortunate that Nigerians are made to go through this.
I want you to add the word again.
Yes, again. Yeah. Though the regulatory authority, the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission has already come out with the introduction of the multi-year tariff order, put on ground a systematic, a strategical increase in the price of electricity over time to ensure that Nigerians begin to pay the amount that is commensurate with what it takes to generate and to distribute the power that we have. The multi-year tariff order allows for periodic reviews of electricity tariff.
You say that periodic review we are experiencing now with that increase?
I wouldn't say, because the period. Okay, there's the reviews fall into three basic categories. We have the 6-monthly review, which happens around January and then July.
Okay.
Then we have the 5-year review, which is a much more lengthy period of time. And then there's the extraordinary reviews, which can come up anytime when the factors of production such as the cost for getting the basic components. For instance, now gas in this case, procuring gas, and then the other components like obtaining forex to get the supply of some of the equipment or things they have to use as input in the value chain, the power value chain goes up. So that calls for the distribution companies propose a review of their tariff based on their cost of production.
Yeah.
They bring all of this, they put all of this together and then approach the regulatory commission. And where the commission sees that this is justified, that all what they have put together is justified, they approve. And it's important to say here that all the distribution companies across the country, they are not on the same tariff plan. Every disco does not charge the same. So it depends now on how efficient they are and how they are able to, the power that is allocated to them, how much of the power, what level of infrastructure they have to be able to take more. The more power they can take that can be willed to them and then distributed, the cheaper it is in the overall for the average consumer. So all these play a role in what the final cost of the of power per kilowatt is at the end of the day.
You mentioned a point that not all discos charge the same.
Yes, no, the different discos have different.
Now, that they don't charge the same requires some regulation. And of course, the regulatory authority is NEC,
Yes.
Nigeria Electricity Regulatory Commission.
Yes.
Yes, NEC is supposed to regulate them. Now, is NEC aware of this?
Of course, that is embedded in the regulation for the discos. That it is based on, if we look at the way the privatization process went, each of the investors, the core investors in the distribution companies, got the assets based on their own projection for loss reduction and efficiency and all that. So all these were different bases that were not uniform to all of them were not, there was no single parameter for all of them.
Yeah.
Each of the discos operated based on the unique situations, conditions of infrastructure and other components found in the franchise areas for the discos. So based on that, the tariff are not the same. For in other places where the infrastructure is much improved, you have lower tariff prevailing there, and then in other places where the infrastructure is not okay, or maybe the franchise area is not so dominated by the upper end areas.
Those people who can afford it.
Yes, you have the tariff base there also being different. So all these are put together to determine the tariff for each of the discos, depending on their franchise areas. And so as a result of this, each disco, each distribution company has to approach the regulatory commission on an individual basis, where they have to do an extraordinary review, where the changes in the factors of production, like we have the forex, the inflation rates, and other things, the cost of gas, and so on, have kind of upped their production cost to the point that the current rate is no longer good for them. They cannot.
It's not sustainable.
It's not sustainable for them. So they can make their own proposal and on an individual basis approach the regulatory commission, and where this is approved, that becomes the tariff for that area. So it is only when they are having the general periodic reviews that you can have the commission coming out to say, okay, there's going to be a tariff review. So in recent times, we've had some consumers have witnessed some of them, their electricity tariff gone up by 2 naira, and a 2 naira increase. Some of them have recorded 4 naira, and some have even recorded reduction.
Is that so?
Well, that is the claim. You know one thing. When there is an increase, everybody would come out to complain, to air their grievances. Yeah. But when there's a reduction,
they say it's part of the national case.
Yes, nobody will come out to say, "Oh, I had my own tariff reduced." So
I wish we could put a hand on a list of these companies that increase and decrease. But you see, the thing is, the regulatory commission, albeit sincere, they are sincere, or let me put it as we hope they are sincere. Now, I'm talking about sincerity in the sense that there are some that have increased and there are some that have decreased. If there are some that have decreased, then we can see there is some degree of sincerity in the exercise. But the thing is, Nigerians need to be in the know.
Yes.
You can't take unilateral action, because you talk about producers, and you also need to talk about consumers, because this thing is a kind of symbiotic relationship that must be taken into consideration.
Yes.
Normally, if you go to buy a good or you are getting a service, there is bargaining.
Yeah.
People, if I want to buy akara from not akara, you don't bargain akara. If you want to buy maybe a football or a pair of shoes or a shirt, the vendor or the person who is selling they say it's 5,000 naira. You say, no, I can't pay 5,000 naira. Let's make it 3,000 naira, and then you battle it until maybe it gets to 4,000.
It depends on where you go to.
It depends, though. It depends. But usually there is some haggling. What I'm saying is, although the process is Herculean, but it is good that the consumers are in the know. When you are increasing, let them be in the know. And of course, when you are decreasing, people should know also, so that they know that there is a degree of sincerity in all of this.
Yes, that is where the consumers are. I believe their interest is not being taken into account properly. Because if you're going to increase tariff, whether it's a periodic review or it's the extraordinary review, the moment it is approved by the regulatory authority that okay, so and so distribution company is going to decrease or increase, as the case is most of the time, their tariff, the onus should be on them to notify their consumers that based on this and these factors, we've had to increase our tariff. And so starting from this period, they are giving a good level of notice. So, okay, starting from the next month or the next week, or as the case may be, a timeline that we are going to start operating on this new tariff. And then the consumer becomes aware and is able to plan along that line.
You get the point.
And is able
to. Resources are tight now. Resources are tight. And every expenditure one makes now, he wants to know what is going into. Belts are being tightened.
Sure.
And when you want to make your expenses, it's good that you plan. But this is an unplanned thing. And we were talking about per unit. Maybe they increase their tariff by maybe 2 naira, 4 naira, 6 naira, maybe 8 naira per unit. That 8 naira per unit or 6 naira per unit is not one unit you are buying.
It's not one.
If
So
you are buying
multiply
100,
it.
if you are buying 100 units, that is you are having an increase of 600 naira. People want to know where their monies are going to because they are planning. And for that reason, it is the right of the consumer to know what is going on. There's much to discuss on it. Let's take a short break. When we come back, we continue this discussion. It's been Mr. Anthony Uko in the studio, our guest, and of course, this our guest is a knowledgeable one. I've been your host, Case Hammond. Please stay with us. Come back soon.
For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.
Money Radio, discussing the business of making and spending money.
Welcome back, viewers. You're still on to Money Radio, the energy segment of the program on this Thursday, November 24, 2022. Yes. So I said November. February. February 24, 2022. Yes. And we are talking about why increase in electricity tariff persists. So before we go, let's recap our first half of this discussion. We're talking about the need based on infrastructure improvement and other factors. That there is a need under MITO, the multi-year tariff order under MITO, to periodically review this the tariff. Yes, and but we talked about the need to keep the consumers abreast of what is going on, and then let's get an idea what the tariff plans are for the various consumers. You have an idea? Could you?
Yes. Like I mentioned earlier, the different distribution companies do not charge. It's not a flat rate charge for all of them. But however, this every consumer has been programmed into bands, ranging from band A being the highest to E.
Who are the A? Who are the B, C, D, and E?
Yes, this is the bands are apportioned based on the number of the hours that each consumer enjoys electricity.
Okay.
Over a period of 1 month. So there are the band A, which is the highest, which pays the highest in terms of tariff, should have electricity for between 20 to 24 hours a day.
That's band A.
Yes.
I can probably say I'm in band A.
Oh, congratulations to you. Then those in band B should have electricity between 16 hours and 20 hours. And then those in band C should have between 12 and 16 hours. And then band D should have between 8 and 12, while band E is between 4 and 8 hours.
So which band do you fall in?
I really cannot say which band I
You stay
but
home
I
during
know,
weekends.
yes, but I know that my tariff is amongst the highest, because right now my tariff is almost 50 naira.
Wow.
Is about 48 naira per unit. So I am very, very sure that I don't get up to 16 hours of electricity.
That is fraud.
Yes. So that is exactly what we are saying, that these bands have been indicated by the MITO and the distribution companies ought to operate by them. But right now, a lot of people don't even know which band they should fall into and how, but they're actually been, are we paying the commensurate amount that we should pay for that, for whatever band that we are in? So these are some of the issues that agitate the consumers.
Whenever I say this, you seem to tilt in the direction of backing the distribution companies, and I say they do some things that are fraudulent. You say, how sure am I? And you have just proven that there is
I am
fraud.
not backing them. I'm just
you have
saying
just
that
there is fraud.
I'm just saying that you should back up your that you should back up your allegation with evidence.
Is this not evidence?
Even though I've said this, I've not been able to clearly point out how many hours of electricity I enjoy. And you are among the lucky ones who enjoy up to 24 hours.
Yes.
So maybe you should take a look at your tariff, and next time we talk about this, you'll be able to say, okay, for the 20 to 24 hours of supply that I have within the day in a month, so what's my tariff? Then we begin. Yes,
but I can assure you, among those people who own generators in this country, I'm not one of them, because I don't need.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. That we would want you. I'm sure our viewers out there would want to know, for enjoying that level of power, what's your tariff? So maybe based on that, we can begin to see where each of us should fall into, so that when we are making complaints, there was a recent synergy between the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission and the Federal Consumer Protection Commission recently. A synergy between both organizations to better attend to consumer complaints.
Yes.
And in the next couple of weeks, the NEC will be coming up with a complaint app.
Okay.
That it will be much easier for consumers to be able to log in and lay their complaints directly to the authorities.
That app, I hope it won't crash, because the complaint
will be so much. The complaint will just be so much. They just have to make sure it's a very formidable app that will withstand all the barrage of
funny enough, I won't
But
tell
what
anybody.
I'm trying to say is that consumers should be able to, marshal out their complaints in a very systematic way that will enable the authorities to be able to do something worthwhile out of it.
I won't say on air here where I live, and I won't tell you, because I don't want people flooding into that area before you people begin to cut our ration short. Having said that, please, what are the tariffs for band A, B, C, and D? You are trying to give it to us?
No, I like what is openly known is the number of electricity you should that each band has.
Okay.
As I told you earlier, the amounts for each of those ones are not stipulated. So it is it's for each person to kind of say, okay, I'm under this disco. what does this disco charge me for being under this ban? So that's something that each consumer would need to observe in their different areas and the franchise areas that they operate. But besides all this, the issue of generating enough power remains very, very key, because this pricing mechanism that we're talking about, at the end of the day, we can't pay less of it if the generation improves. Not just generation now, generation, transmission, and
distribution.
Most importantly, distribution. So that is the area where the relevant authorities need to look into to ensure that the issue of infrastructure gap. You know, the other day we were talking about generating power and then having wasted energy.
Yeah.
So unless that is that is tackled, whereby whatever power is generated can be wheeled out and then distributed to the end user, Nigerians will still continue to pay much more. And the tariff will still, they will keep reviewing it, because like the regulatory authority has said, there is no end to review. Though they also said it can get to a time where the reviews can start being downwards. And we really do hope that Nigeria will get to that point where price reviews will begin to be downwards rather than upwards all the time.
That will be in the new world order. It can be now. I can assure you, it can be now. There is this thing that baffles me. The distribution companies complain that they are not making profit. And their complaints sound genuine. Their complaints range from, when we borrowed money to invest, the exchange rate was 180, 190, 197. Now it's 500. The cost of equipment increases or has been increasing, and all of that, foreign exchange, all of that. Yet, these people, in quote, feel good operating at a loss, in quote. If I am doing business and that business is not giving me profit and I'm operating at a loss, I will run out of it. I wonder why, even when AMCON decides to take over a distribution company, they fight hard to operate at a loss.
It's because I want to believe it's because there's been so much government intervention. Because of the 40% equity that the federal government owns. So the federal government always comes in to intervene and bring in money to stabilize the system. And in so doing, these distribution companies, they've come to see that, no matter what happens, we can continue business as usual.
So the fight hard, roll up sleeves
until the central bank stepped in recently to escrow their accounts and ensure that whatever goes into the account is apportioned to where it should be. The priorities are given to the very important component of their operations, and also to repayment of loans. The discos were more or less having a field day.
Yes.
They will put all these monies together and then appropriate it as they like, and then come back to say, we are operating at a loss. We don't.
It doesn't make any sense to me to be operating at a loss and you are rolling sleeves
still continuing. Someone said that the entire distribution process actually needs to be overhauled.
Yes.
And then fresh
investors
allowed to
if
come
possible,
in, so that
even if it means bringing in foreign investors. Look,
so that we can actually make progress. We've been on this circle,
This
vicious
thing has
circle
been
for
into
too long.
about 8 years now.
This is the 9th year. So it's high time that a decisive action is taken to ensure
President
that we
Buhari
move
has
from here.
just about maybe 14 months to do that, and I hope he does it.
And I hope he does that.
Yes.
Or else,
Revisit
yes,
the agreement on this privatization of the power sector. So thanks for being with us. It's our in-house analyst. Of course, you agree that she is always on point and she hits her point. Well, thank you very much for being here with us today again. Thanks to you, our producers, but our major thanks actually go to you who loyally follow us. Yes, we say thank you. It's because of you we are here. I've been your host, Case Hammond. Until we meet tomorrow for another edition, which is transportation segment of Money Radio. Have a nice day. Stay safe. God bless you.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.